Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. It's Yo Kami. Today, I'm watching a video. Just Pearly Things. Being interviewed / involved in a debate with some feminists on Piers Morgan's show. Piers Morgan Uncensored. I'm not gonna lie, I already watched this. It's been a while since I've recorded a video. It's been a long while. And I thought that this was interesting. Full disclosure, I hate Pearl. I hate Pearl Davis. It's true. I must admit. I hate Pearl Davis with a burning passion. In my heart, in my soul. So, we'll see how this goes. I watched it, but I didn't really analyze it. I kind of watched it while I was doing something else in the background. So, this time I'll really pay attention. We can sort through the arguments here.
Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Pearl Davis has racked up a legion of online followers and plenty of breathless newspaper coverage by sharing her incendiary views on modern feminism. The New York Post called her the female Andrew Tate, so she tapped into genuine...
That's very disrespectful. Well, it's fakely disrespectful. I think they're really just saying she's a misogynist like he's a misogynist. But honestly, she's more of a misogynist than he is, if you discount the whole human trafficking thing. Which maybe you shouldn't. But she's way dumber than he is. Way dumber, way less charismatic. She's terrible.
Genuine female pushback to the excesses of wokery, or is she just an attention seeker? We'll find out in a moment. But first, let's take a look at the clip that sent her viral.
A lot of people think I'm insane because I don't think women should vote. Everybody thinks I'm crazy for this opinion. If anything, this is probably my most extreme opinion. 90% of women have been on birth control. 1 out of 3 women has had an abortion. 1 out of 3 women has an STD. Average body count is over 5, so that your average wife has slept with over 5 people. 95% of women are not virgins on their wedding days. So I understand the complaint.
Okay, well, Pearl joins me now alongside political journalist Ava Santini, who was nodding furiously along there to everything she heard. Right, Pearl, you've be called the female Andrew Tate. How do you plead?
Well, I take it as a compliment. You know, I'm a fan of Andrew Tate.
Of everything he says?
It depends what we're talking about, but overall, I think he's got a good message. I think he's good for young men.
Okay, look, you're talking about women predominantly, which is why you've got this big following. And your view is that modern feminism is deeply flawed. I would argue a lot of your proposals, like taking the vote away from women, are deeply regressive. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to remove, just from yourself, the right to vote?
Well, what happened was I had the same view, right? Back when I started, I was like, why? I found out that only 5% of women wanted the right to vote. And I couldn't figure out,
What does that even mean? What the fuck does that even mean? Only 5% of women want the right to vote. What? Is this a study? Where did she get that information from? She saw something. Maybe it was during the suffragettes time. It was probably during the suffragettes time that she found out that only 5% of women wanted the right to vote. Because there's no way. There's no way.
why would women not? No, it's true. It's true. You look it up.
At the time.
At the time.
Because they've been conditioned by men to think that they shouldn't have a vote.
I mean, that's what they say. But, you know, I started reading their writings, right? And what I found out was that the reason a lot of women advocated for it was because they believed it was the beginning of the breakdown of the family.
Whose writings did they read?
You know, before you became one in marriage, 85% of people were married. And, you know, I hate to say it, but they were right. What has happened 100 years later?
Well, what's that got to do with them having the vote?
Look, already off rip, I think I see the angle that she's taking. I understand her point, and there's some validity to it. If the man voted, if only men could vote, and more people were married, and families stayed together, and they voted as a household, that would fakely promote, you know, families staying together. Fakely. The problem is, though, the way that I think that a government should run a society is it can kind of push towards some moral objectives. But I think generally speaking, the people should advocate for what they think is morally right and morally wrong. And what the government should do is put in place laws in order to support the population of people that they have. That's what I think that a government should do. So, if it's the case that the breakdown of the family has occurred and people aren't getting married and women have 5 bodies before their wedding day and 1/3 of them have STDs and everybody got a baby daddy and a baby mama, I don't really think that it's on the government to say, okay, well, in order to promote families, women can't vote anymore. I think the government should recognize that the people are moving in one direction and then have a goal in mind for how they want to structure their nation and take care of their people, and then do that so that the most amount of people can be represented in that. Because the world that Pearl is talking about, a lot of people are being represented. If 85% of people are married, and men are the only people who have the right to vote, if they vote as a household, let's say, then that's fine. But that's not the situation that we're in. So making it so that only men can vote isn't going to help all the other women. In the past, the women were, I won't say fine, but you could argue that they were being represented. What Pearl's advocating for in today's society would just mean half the population is not represented anymore. I don't agree with doing that. I think that if you're a fully grown adult who can work, pay taxes, all that kind of shit, I think those are really the only 2 things. Work and pay taxes. Then you should have the right to have a say in your nation. You don't even have to be a fully grown adult who pays taxes and works. If you're an adult, you should have a right to say what you want to say and advocate for what you want to advocate for in this nation. I think that prisoners should be allowed to vote. I think that when it's time for an election, they should bring in the ballot box. Hey, whoever wants to vote, put your shit in there and go back to your cell. So because I'm in jail, I don't have a right to... I would imagine that if I'm in custody, that if the state literally has control over my life, then I should have even more of a say than the average person who has more freedoms than I do. But that's a whole nother discussion. All I'm saying is, I kind of understand where Pearl's going, but I just disagree with it fundamentally.
Well, it also goes back to responsibility. Again, men are 80 to 90% of the military. They run all of the infrastructures that make society run. So I just think if we want an equal say in society, then be equal. Do 50% of the hard jobs. Be 50% of the military. In the U.S.,
that's some retard. It's just so stupid, because the presupposition of what she's saying, without actually having said it, is that what men do is more important than women. And in fact, I think I saw a video from her recently where she was saying if women disappeared, society would still run. What she's implicitly saying is that what men do is more important. So in order for women to be valued enough to be able to vote, they have to do that important work too. But being a mother is important. Lots of women are doctors. That's important. Being a home taker, home care, home is important. So the idea that women aren't important because they don't do the important things that men do, therefore they shouldn't have a right to vote, that's some retard shit. What the fuck is she talking about?
they're fined $250,000.
Why don't men do 50% of the things that women do? Whatever it is that women do. I don't know what they do. I don't have stats. I don't have a whole bingo book full of information to shit on men. So whatever it is that women do, maybe men shouldn't get the right to vote until they do 50% of that. That's some retard shit.
If they don't join selective service, which is essentially the draft.
Okay, but specifically on the vote, what would having the right to vote have to do with family cohesion, for example?
Well, because again, before you weren't trying to divide a family. It was one family unit. You had one vote for the family. I mean, I don't think it's good for a family to have 2 votes.
Ava?
Why?
Your mouth seems to...
Why can't it be good for a family to have 2 votes? Why is that wrong? Why is it wrong for a family to have 2 votes? I don't understand. What if the 2 votes vote in the same direction? What's the problem?
To have dropped
No,
about
do you know what
I
it's
know.
like?
I know.
It's just sort of a bit galaxy brain. I feel like, you know, the stats that you're putting down are perhaps correct in some universe.
Which stats?
But they just kind of don't really add up. I mean, just to take you back to the to the women's writings that you've allegedly read. I mean, at
Allegedly?
The time, well, at
What
the
do you
time
mean allegedly?
At the time that you're talking about, you know, women weren't really allowed to write. They weren't allowed to go to school.
Yes, they were.
They didn't find the best feminists that they could. Women weren't allowed to write? Like, what? None? Like, what is she talking about? Women weren't allowed to not. There wasn't a single woman that could write. I don't. And I'm not a feminist. I hate leftists, but I consider myself a liberal. So I go, look, as many people voting as possible is great. So I don't agree with Pearl, but women weren't allowed to write. Come on, son.
Right.
Yes, they
so
were. That's
actually,
incorrect. The first
okay,
female
what year are we
property, the
talking
first
about?
female property owner was in the 1600s. The idea that women couldn't work and couldn't.
so sorry, but
the
that would
first
be
female,
inherited
no, the
property.
first, no, the first female millionaire was in the late 1800s.
And was that
So,
inherited?
no, it wasn't. It was self-made.
It
She was.
wasn't.
No, yes, it was.
Self-made.
Yes, it
and
was.
She never
She was.
inherited
Yes,
land.
she didn't.
Here's a little debate tip. If somebody's saying some shit and you don't know what the fuck they're talking about, don't even acknowledge it. Just talk about what you know. Because, or you could acknowledge it in like a hypothetical way. Okay, whatever. Let's say that's true. But she's trying to like dispute the claim live in the middle of the debate. You're not going to look good. Like, what are you talking about? Was it inherited? Well, now you look like an asshole because you're smugly proposing that it was inherited, like you know, and she's going no, and you have no idea whether or not it was. You expect her to just say, well, yes, it was inherited. Maybe she would if she was extremely good faith and that happened to be the truth, but you don't know if it's true. You don't know if it's true at all. She can just be like, no, it wasn't. It was self-made. And now you just got egg on your face, like, haha, yeah, sure. What is she doing?
Not
And what law
inherited.
permitted that?
What?
What law permitted that?
Well, there was no law. I mean, there's always been women that were influential in
let's
history.
let's get on to the vote. So what I don't understand is, you know, a part of your message. I've researched you today. And hang on a minute.
Okay.
You know, your big push is that you care about men and you don't think that men are getting enough of a say. But
Well, I care about
hang
women
on,
too.
I haven't
Care
made the
about women
point
too,
yet. Because of feminism. Okay. What I wonder is when you start making calls out like repeal the 19th, women shouldn't be allowed to vote. How is that helping young men? Because these young men have women in their lives. They have mothers, they have sisters, they have teachers, and they turn around. They don't know how to act around women because you're giving them license to be misogynistic.
I wouldn't call it misogynistic. I say be equal. So again, men
think
do
that's what
all of
most
the.
feminists are
Well,
saying.
then okay, I'd love for the feminists. Please apply for the oil rigs. Please go do the.
It's just so dumb. So, should a Twitch streamer? So let's say we're in Pearl's world, her hypothetical world, her utopia, where she can't vote. Should a Twitch streamer who's a male not be able to vote because he's not on an oil rig? Like, what is the benchmark for being able to vote? Is it being a man? Is it working on an oil rig? Is it being a police officer? I don't understand what she's saying. Like, okay, so all the men who are, let's say, preschool teachers. I'm assuming that preschool teachers are mostly women, right? I don't know if that's the case, but let's just assume that most preschool teachers are women. For the men who are preschool teachers, because they participate in a women's field, and it seems like Pearl is saying that women jobs wouldn't allow you to vote in her world. If you're a preschool teacher as a man, can you not vote? Like, what is she talking about? What the fuck is she talking about? I hate Pearl Davis.
the hard jobs in society. They're open, they're hiring, because I don't equate for, I don't think men or women are equal until we do the equal work. So no, listen, go apply to be on the oil rigs, go be a plumber, go be an electrician, go be on the front lines of the military, and then we should have equal rights. But until feminists are willing to do that, I don't believe we should have the freedom without the responsibility.
It's shocking, because it feels like that nigga Piers smiling. Nah, he's not smiling. It's just like, it's like you brought two monkeys onto the show to just screech at each other. Like, this is the dumbest conversation I've ever heard in my entire life, and I can't believe that the feminist is having a hard, I don't even know if she's a feminist. I don't know if she identifies as one, but I can't believe that she's having a hard time combating arguably the dumbest points that I've ever heard in my entire life.
I don't think that I'm physically built for that. You might be, but I'm
Damn!
actually not. You said you were
Damn!
Wow.
You said you were
That's
a
a shot.
player, and so you've got more strength than I do. I don't think
But
that
I don't have more strength. I don't have more strength than the average man.
I'm not going to take your right away to do it.
I don't have more strength than the average man. But again, it goes back to go be a plumber. You want to be equal, go be equal.
So okay. So if there's a woman who's a plumber, does she? No, it has to be 50-50 parity, but only 50-50 parity in the jobs that Pearl deems to be difficult enough for you to have the vote. So niggas who aren't plumbers, who aren't, right, niggas who are preschool teachers, they get to reap the benefits of the actual hardworking men while they're just lazy bums, stay-at-home dads. They get to reap the benefits as a lazy bum from the oil rig men who really, like, it's so, it's so dumb.
Also, but you want divorce to be made illegal.
Yes.
Why?
Yes, because I don't think what we have today is really marriage. What is marriage? It's for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. That's what marriage is supposed to be. But feminists have ruined marriage for the people that actually believe in marriage.
How?
When there's
Let me I got so sad. I didn't even know what to say, but let her keep on going, and then maybe I can.
There's a 50% divorce rate, and the average marriage
Why is that all down to the women,
years.
though?
I didn't say that it was all down to the women.
So why feminists
you asked why I want divorce to be banned.
Yeah.
Can I finish that first?
Damn.
So I'm saying, the people that believe in divorce, go be in long-term relationships. Leave marriage for...
How does people who don't take their marriage seriously ruin marriage for the people who do take their marriage seriously? Is it because, so if you're in a happily committed relationship and you've been together for decades, if some person goes, marriage sucks, does that degrade yours? What are you talking about? I hate Pearl Davis. What the fuck is she talking about? Look, I'm a Catholic, so I think that the way that people enter marriages and handle marriages is wrong too. But there's a religious understanding of marriage, and then there's a, let's say, governmental understanding of marriage. The governmental understanding of marriage is that it's a contract. It's a contract between two people. And the purpose of the contract, generally speaking, is to bring two people together for the purpose of raising a family, generally speaking. Now, some people don't use it for that reason. I don't know why you would. Why would you get married if you're not going to have kids? What the fuck are you... why? What's the point? But if you do have kids and your shit hits the fan, you shouldn't be bound to that contract forever because some niggas in some marriages say for better or for worse. It doesn't make any sense. Do I think that people treat marriage poorly? Yeah, sure. But that doesn't mean that marriage should be illegal. I have to be in this contract no matter what, even if both parties decide, yeah, we don't, because Pearl Davis thinks for better or for worse. I hate Pearl Davis.
for the people that actually believe in for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, till death do us part.
But doesn't the sanctity of marriage also rely on the woman being a virgin? So you wouldn't be able to get married.
Damn!
What do you mean?
Well, you've spoken quite openly about how you're not a virgin. And so if you want to preserve that sanctity of marriage, then I just think that you're upholding standards that you don't actually
This nigga Piers. This nigga Piers is a clown.
That's a fair complaint. I wish I was. But, we can't go back. I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah, but I just don't think it's fair that you get to be here and you get to be paid for your views, and you're telling other women that they shouldn't be allowed to.
I think,
hang on. Okay, if I may, at some stage jump in. Isn't the whole point of being a feminist, though, that women are entitled to have their own views?
Absolutely. And
so she's perfectly entitled to her views.
Yeah, but you can't.
You might not like them.
But I'm here to challenge
Isn't she exercising her right as a... Are you a feminist?
No, I am not.
Really?
No, don't go that far.
You don't want to be a feminist?
No, because I think if feminists really believed in equality,
I hate Pearl Davis. That was a stupid chime in from Piers. I'm pretty sure the crux of what the blonde girl was saying was that it's unfair that Pearl is saying all these things and making money off of reviews and benefiting from them. But the rhetoric that she's spewing, she spews. Look at her face. She's spewing. The rhetoric that she spews is a type of rhetoric that would disallow or disable women from being able to go down the same path that she has. Whether or not that's true, I'm not going to say that it's true. What I will say is, if you keep going along that path and in that same vein, like the things that Pearl is saying, I don't think would disallow women from being able to do what Pearl's doing. But if you keep on going down that path of misogyny, it could eventually get to that point. But that's all that she was saying, was that Pearl's being unfair. And then Piers chimes in and was like, well, shouldn't she be allowed to? Nobody's stopping her. We're just disagreeing. Niggas can disagree. Just because I disagree with you doesn't mean that you can't say what you want to say. You can say the stupid shit that you want to say. Look at her. Look at her face as she's spewing stupid shit.
you guys don't. I would love for you. There is an oil rig hiring. There is an engineering
I would actually love to see Ava Santana on.
You know what the worst thing about Pearl Davis is? Is that she's so uncharismatic. She's like Myron from Fresh and Fit, but she's stupid. That's the worst part about him. About her. And even Myron. Nah, they're probably equal levels of uncharismatic. Equal levels of uncharismatic, but I think Pearl is less aware of how uncharismatic she is. I think Myron is a lot more aware of how uncharismatic he is. More aware. Not totally, because like there's those streams where they were going at what was nigga's name? Abba and Preach. Niggas just like jumping around the studio making monkey noises. Like, come on, bro. So he's not that aware. But he's more aware than Pearl Davis.
No, seriously. There is a building being built next to my building. Go do it, feminists. Go do it. And me, I'm saying
the same job that I'm doing right now.
When you find the man you want to get married to, are you saying you will be with that man whatever happens the rest of your life?
Yes, for the vows that we're supposed to live by.
How do you know you can keep them?
I mean, I think it's a choice. And that's the thing, like, women are so willing to leave marriages because they're not happy. This is not about happiness. The most important thing is the children.
Look, the kill shot every single time is, and I already know what the response is. It's such a horrible response. The kill shot is, all right, what if you're in a physically abusive relationship? That nigga is using your head like a speed bag every day. I'd ask this directly to Pearl. What if the nigga that you marry decides to just start using your head like a speed bag every day? Well, that's such a minority of the cases. I don't think that we should talk about that. I think that we should. Because you're saying it should be illegal. So that bitch is getting her head used like a speed bag. And she wants to leave. You're saying no. Why can't she leave? If she can't leave, then that gets included in what you're talking about. You need to address that. If bitch is getting her head used like a speed bag, Pearl, you have to tell us what you would do. And it sounds like in your society, you would just let her keep on getting CTE every night.
And the problem is we have a modern society where it's me, my feelings, leave when I feel like it, instead of doing what's best for the kids.
Ava, I've got to say, it's a little bit listening to Andrew Tate, where some of it I really don't agree with. I don't agree with the vote stuff. When I hear things like that, I think there'll be a lot of people, especially older generation women perhaps, who think, you know what, she's got a point.
Well, I mean, I believe in agency, so I think
she has a point that maybe a lot of people don't think about the bigger picture. They don't think about social cohesion. They don't think long enough or hard enough about how their kids might be affected by the decisions that they make to get divorced or something like that. She does have a point in saying that societally, the attitudes around marriage and divorce are fucked up. But she doesn't have a point. She's cooking nothing. We're starving for a good take when she says that divorce should be illegal. Starving. Famished. I'm a fat nigga. Starving. Where's the food? When she says some stupid shit like that.
that if a woman is going to look after her children with divorce, that's absolutely fine. I also believe in your right to speak your mind about it. What I don't understand,
I'd like to
what
say,
I don't
even
understand,
before the 1920s,
do you know what I mean?
women could.
You know what's funny? Is Pearl's got a battery in her back. Is it battery in her back or battery in her pack? I don't know. But she's got a battery somewhere. There you go. She's got a battery somewhere. Because that nigga Piers was like, you know what? And niggas are just letting her run away and just talk and talk and talk. She's just talking and talking and talking. Blonde bitch can't get a word in. She's done. She's done for. It's all over. It's the Pearl show. She's won.
Speak openly. This idea that like women couldn't talk the last 500 years. There have been women throughout
the American
history
state
that have
education
been,
system has
that have
failed
been,
before, and it's failing now.
There have been women throughout history that have
I don't like her taking a shot at America. Fuck you. Now I'm on Pearl's side.
read, written, and been very influential in society.
Okay.
So this idea like women could never do it.
Do you know
Don't
what I,
believe
what
it.
I don't understand though is when it gets spiteful, okay? Because you put down a few arguments that I think are perfectly, like, you know, they're kind of evangelical and they're Christian, but those are your right to say it. What I don't understand is when it kind of seeps into this sort of, you call women fat, you say that they shouldn't have
Are they
abortions,
fat?
you say that
Are
they
they
have
fat?
STDs. You know,
I mean, the question is, are they fat? Yes
why-
or no?
why pass
The
that kind
average
of
American
judgment?
woman is 170 pounds. That's objectively overweight.
I mean, let's be honest. We now celebrate morbid obesity as some kind of body positive thing, and it is complete nonsense. So actually, on that point again, there's a bit of truth in
And
that.
this is the problem. This is the problem.
How have we come to celebrate morbid obesity as body positive?
Well,
It's nonsense.
We're not talking about morbid obese. I was actually watching your podcast earlier, and you spoke to someone who was, I would say, probably a size 12, and you called her fat, obese, and a divorcee.
She
Damn.
was fat, obese, and a divorcee.
wasn't.
I mean,
Damn.
like, I don't know what to say. This is the thing, women. We don't want to live in reality. We don't want to say things that are true. Was she fat? Yes. Was she a divorcee? Yes. These things are just objective facts.
Okay,
Damn.
I'm going to have to
And
objectively.
she insulted me first. They always.
I'm going to have to objectively end the debate, but it was an interesting conversation. I think we should get
It
you two
was
back
not.
together
I
as a
agree.
matter of urgency. Thank you very much, Pearl. Thank you, Ava.
That was not a great conversation. Ava is pissed. Pissed the fuck off. Was she fat? Yes. Was she divorcee? Yes. That's toxic. That's toxic. I mean, look. That's the first dub that Pearl Davis has gotten in a long time. See niggas be beefing with her on Twitter. Fair enough. I'll give it to her. Yeah, she won. She won. But, you know, it was two retards fighting. To tell you the honest truth, it was two retards fighting. So, how much clout can she really get? They brought the worst representative for feminism that they could have ever brought. I could have done a better job. And I hate women. Pause. Chill. Not pause. I'm joking. I'm a comedian. I'm joking. But I could have done a better job. Anywho, that's it for this video. Make sure you like. Make sure you comment. Make sure you subscribe. Tell me in the comments below if you're a fan of Pearl Davis. I'm certainly not. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.